Welcome to the Diner Podcast, where we eat our lunch for breakfast.
Hello and welcome to the Diner Podcast. I'm your host, Red Velvet. With me as always is Uncle Lump.
Hello.
And today is episode 196. It's an OG,
Ooh.
and I have animal crackers stuck in my mouth.
That's the worst part about those crackers. I'm surprised you didn't just keep eating them. You act like we have this like uber level of professionalism that we like just eat your damn crackers and enjoy it. I think that's the joy of our podcast, is that you can eat animal crackers on it and we don't give a shit.
Yeah, remember that one time I ate dinner?
Yeah, you had a full plate. That was early days of the podcast, Mr. Red Velvet. If you go back and listen to, who knows? It was early days,
first 10.
But
my
a lot
wife
of
plate of dinner, and I just sat there and ate it.
Yeah, you literally cleaned your plate. You just hear forks and knives clinging and clanging all over, and it was like, oh, this is brilliant audio.
Hey, man. When you set a hot plate in front of me, I got to eat it or it's going to get cold. That's just the way things are.
Yeah. Well, we've grown now. No more. We've grown into no more animal crackers or no more like full-fledged dinners, I guess, which really we probably should have some sort of food addition to what we do. Like we're called the Diner and we do fuck all of nothing with food, which is hysterical.
Yeah, people just think this is a comedy club too. So I got questions all the time. They're like, what's this comedy club you own? I'm like, it ain't, it's a garage.
It's just my house. It's just where we do a podcast out of.
Is that a
Didn't
mushroom?
people like legitimately think that you were starting? So
it looks like
it was getting ready to drip on my computer. That would have been bad. But no, I have no water bottles left, and I left my jug water bottle in the car after the gym the other day. So I'm using my mug.
You act like the car is like on the other side of town. You're like, it's in the car. I just can't get it.
Well, okay. I was running late. We were going to do this like an hour ago, and you're like, yep, give me 10 minutes. And then I ventured off onto side quests and did not see that you had texted me, because I think I came back at 10 minutes and I was like, oh, you hadn't texted me yet. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then I came back like give or take about 30 minutes later, and I was, oh, fuck, I forgot we were getting ready to do a podcast. So then I was frantically trying to get water, because if I try to sit here and talk for an hour, I get very, very parched. So I try to have a water so that it doesn't sound like I'm chewing on glue over here. And I grabbed a cup because I did not have anything else to throw it in. So yes, we are using mushroom mug.
You have your penis cup. That's great. Great.
No, some people can make mushrooms and not have them look like dicks that you drew on my arm. So have we ever told that story?
I really don't know.
I have always been a Randy Orton fan in wrestling, and he has a sleeve tattoo that has skulls and all kinds of obviously cool shit. So in a drunken escapade one night, Mr. Red Velvet was like, I can draw the skulls on your arm, I believe I don't remember what you were drawing the skulls on my arm for. I want to say it was St. Patrick's Day, but I don't know why that would have coincided with me getting skulls drawn on my arm like a Randy Orton sleeve. But it turned out to be a bunch of little micro penises that you drew on my arm, which is pretty much what it turned into.
Well, what you may not even know, I didn't draw them. I traced them.
Oh,
so, yeah.
How did I not notice that I must have been very, very drunk.
Well, it doesn't weigh a lot, so it's just there.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So
so what you're saying is, in my drunken escapade, you were caressing your schlong on my arm to draw.
That's weird. I technically guess I SA'd you. But I was just drawing. I was trying. It's for art. It's for art purposes.
Art purposes. That makes it all right.
And that's right where we get canceled right there. It's for art purposes to do that.
It's for art purposes. No, I think that still revolves around the hashtag Me Too. I think that's where that falls in line. Luckily for you, we've become very close, so I'll allow it.
Well, that's fine. No, I really did. It's not much bigger than what those mushrooms were, but it's a little bigger. So
a little bigger. Well, you had to it's like the objects in the mirror, Mace. You had to proportion it to size for my arm.
I had to use a magnifying glass so I could see it.
So we were talking about our subscribers earlier. We still have yet to release the video of me drawing on you with a more permanent utensil.
Yeah. Well, even through the subscriber, I don't think Facebook is going to allow my butt to be on there. That's
fair. So that might be a Twitter, like a Twitter. We'll try on YouTube and see if it gets pulled.
Oh, YouTube will shut it down bigger and crap too.
Really?
It's a Twitter exclusive, or you have a wall of like only.
Okay, but then we have the trying to justify to our wives that there's an OnlyFans for the diner and why we're doing that. But I feel like if it starts making money, then the questions will go out.
Well, the thing is really we're not paying. We're not subscribing to it's the people that subscribe to us got to explain to their significant others why they're subscribing to our OnlyFans.
See, this is brilliant. I think we need to bring our wives in for a business meeting, and we can be like, all right, listen, we have ideas, because then, like we said before, not to spoil it, but you do innuendo type content, and we make it fun and funny to where you post, then you can post it on Facebook. Jared and Evan play with balls at the bowling alley or whatever. And it's just us playing with balls at the bowling alley. Jared and Evan
play with them because you don't want to give up the mystique and the allure.
So Jared and Evan play with their balls, and then it's like us playing catch in the park or something. It's just a video of us out playing catch, and
there you're learning.
Yeah, you draw people in with the want to know, in which I feel like John Cena kind of did that first, where he was talking about playing with his blue balls and whatever, and then that.
Which what surprises me, because WWE shuts down anybody with an OnlyFans that's on their roster, but yet John Cena gets pass.
Well, okay, but he also wasn't showing his dick on the camera, though. I think that is.
You can't say.
But there is
be in the middle. You can't be. Well, it's okay for this guy and not this person.
But I think the porn angle has taken over what OnlyFans is, because they've put roast and comedy things on there. There's a lot more on there than what obviously as married men. It's very scary to go to you can't even go to the website without feeling like a dirt ball or you're going to get in trouble. So, but I think it was Bert Kreischer, or he was on something that they did a roast, or they did a comedy thing because he was promoting it, but they did it on OnlyFans. And I think that was it was originally supposed to be what Twitter is, I think, where they just didn't have the restrictions that the other social media turned into, where I think they were originally going for a Twitter. I could be incorrect. I have no fucking idea. But I think that's what it was. And then the porn angle got so hefty that it's just what it's turned into.
I guess, of course the perverts had to ruin it.
Well, yeah. But I think that's most things. I honestly think that's why, we've talked about the world stuff a lot, but I think that's one that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. I read a Twitter thread the other day about what porn does to people's brains. And it made so much sense because it falls in with the rest of the addictions. It's it's an addicting thing. It's this aggressive dopamine drip. So then it addicts your brain, very similar to what social media does, what really good food does, what it simulates sex, obviously. So same thing that
they're doing their text.
Yeah, that dopamine drip is so then it's that another addictive portion where it's oh fuck, it's just another, but it makes sense where social media, porn, all these things tend to ruin relationships because it puts this different approach, different vibe and mindset out there, and it's then you think that's what it that's what this is, or that's what it should be, whatever. And it you have kids looking at this shit. I'm so happy. I think Indiana banned it. I don't think you can get.
I think they banned the hub. I mean, you can go to. There's probably other.
Is there lots of other? Which I guess there's probably.
Son, I'm sure if I ask him, he'll tell me all the sites that there's access to.
How aggressive would it be if we just shared a screen? All right, let's see what porn sites we can find that aren't banned in Indiana.
Well. Then we will be booted off every social media platform there is.
Yeah, fair. That would probably not go over well.
No, that would not go over. That'd go over like a lead balloon. But no, I mean, it does ruin. It almost ruins the realities of lovemaking because people are or I'm going to shoot in your face. What? No. Yeah.
But it all makes sense. If you kind of look at it as the religious portion of it, where what sex is in that context, it makes sense that you would want if that was we played that, was it Paul Harvey? We talk about this a lot, that if I were the devil, but if you listen to the way that plays out, and the way like the social media stuff, the way all this stuff, like they've almost taken out the human interaction element to where like going out and I just saw, I forget what beer it is, Heineken maybe, that says like the social networking since whatever. And basically they're kind of like showing people of getting off social media and going outside and going out and doing things. But obviously that's not what they're going for, because they want the like that addiction to it, because it's money, the clicks, the numbers, like all of those things are marketing and are revenue for them. So the more they get people addicted to social media, the more you're addicted to the food, the more you're addicted to the TV shows, you're going to keep consuming them and they're going to keep making money. And I think that's why Twitter became this, like, I can't even get on it anymore. I'm 100% positive that both sides just pay people to flood it with all of the bullshit, because they obviously don't want you to know what's actually going on. They're not going to release the files. It's all this like dangling carrot of like, here you go, here's this thing. And I think that's most worlds, because it's money. If you tell everybody everything, they're not going to fucking pay you. They're not going to keep looking. If they come out and release the files, everybody's going to go outside and enjoy their summer. People aren't going to keep sitting in madness going through this stuff going, I know there are pedophiles, arrest them all. Because I was one of those people. Like, and it's so easy to get in that where you're like reading all this shit on Twitter, connecting the dots going, what the fuck is going on? But then it's like, I realized it in wrestling world. I realized it in food, like breaking all these different like holds that I keep getting. You start learning like, oh, it's all the same. It's all just meant to hook you. So you keep giving them the clicks, you keep giving them the money. And it's all this like addictive type. They've learned how to utilize the human brain, addictiveness, psychology to get you with that fear of missing out, the insecurities. Like they pull all of that shit together and they just have everyone fiending, trying to find the answer, because obviously as humans it's what you're looking for. Like we all want to know what this is. We all like, that's why religion's important. That's why, like, I mean, it's crazy too, because your whole life, what are you taught are like taboo topics that you're not supposed to talk about?
Money, politics, religion.
Okay. And then obviously sex is another one that people are very get taboo about. Okay.
Well, there's nothing to talk about.
Well, so like, but think about it this way. Sex is how humans are made. That's how life is brought into the world. Very important thing to understand and to know. It's like a very intimate connection with another person. Having that knowledge and that knowing is very important, but it's a weird, awkward thing to have to talk about. It's hard to talk about with your kids. It's hard to talk about, like, we're live on a podcast talking about it. Like, it's not super simple to like break these things down. Politics, you deal with the back and forth, one side, the other. But if we all spoke and understood and got what was going on and formulated a plan to better the country, then things would work better. But if everybody continues fighting over red tie, blue tie, then they can keep corrupting and keeping the power and doing what they're doing while we just eat shit sandwiches. Religion, same thing. The question of what the fuck this is, what our purpose is, what we're doing. Again, don't talk about it. Well, why? That's what we're all trying to figure out. Why the fuck would we not all talk about it? Well, because people have different opinions and it might not go well. Okay, but I want to hear those differences of opinions, because then it makes me understand everything else, and then I don't have as many questions and I can think for myself and formulate what I think it is and then continue to like build upon it, I guess. And same thing with money. Everything in the world revolves around money. It's all made, like, all these businesses are started, most of them aren't started out of just sheer goodwill. They're started because they want to make money and you're trying to figure it out. And then the goal is to keep making more and more money. And at some point you run out of ideas and you take the easy negative route. You take the greed, the bullshit, whatever. Like, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast or not, but like somebody could come to me and go, hey, saw that you lost 100 pounds. We could pay you X amount if you'll say that you lost it doing this. And like, a lot, like, why, like, if you're struggling financially, and somebody comes in with a load of money and says, hey, well, you just if you do one commercial saying you lost all this weight doing this, we'll pay you X amount. Like, it's a tough thing not to.
How much is the amount?
I don't know that I'd be able to do it. Like, I honestly don't know that I could lie and give someone credit for, because like I know I talk about it, but I've never deep dove into how fucking hard this is. Like, I've lost 100 pounds. I tried my best to completely shift my mindset, learn things that I'm doing incorrectly, try to get better as a dad, get better as a husband, like my body, my physical, my mental. That's what I'm doing all day, every day, is putting energy and effort into that, because I just want to keep getting better and keep figuring these things out and be better for my wife, be better for my kids. And that's kind of my drive to keep doing that. So I'm putting in a lot of fucking work. I've developed a shitload of discipline to not let myself do this. So fuck someone coming in trying to take credit for my work, I guess. Like, I kind of have that mentality with it, that I don't think there is a number. Like, we're not, like, it's not like I'm doing swimmingly financially. So yeah, it would absolutely help. But like, to me, that's like the equivalent of like selling my soul, where it's like, I know that I put the work in to get to where I'm at. I've listened to different people talk about it. I've taken things that I've read on Twitter. I've watched videos. I've done my own AI research whenever I find things. Like, I just keep meticulously trying to figure out the right combination and the right like way to do it. And obviously it's a lot of trial and error. I've been through multiple different ones where like all goes solidly under like fasting to the point where it becomes detrimental. But I learned that I do that with pretty much everything. I have a very addictive personality. So whenever I like something or I want to do something, I will fucking lock in and go for it. Like, once I get that vision or that like thought that this is what I want to do, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it. And it sounds obviously kind of crazy, but I feel like to go after these things, you kind of have to have that mentality a little bit, because if not, it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to just be like, oh, fuck this, I'm done. Like, trust me, there's been more than enough opportunities to do that. And it literally just every time it's just picking back up and going, okay, like, I can sit and dwell on anything that goes negative. We've talked about it. Like, we throw things out there all the time, and it's a lot of throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, trying different things, trying new things. And like, you're constantly putting yourself out there. Well, then ideas are going to come and go. Things are going to work. Things are going to quote unquote fail, but they're not. They're lessons. But it's hard to get to that point where you put all this time and effort into something and then it doesn't have the result that you thought it was going to have. And then obviously learning that, where it was like, oh, I'm just putting expectations on this. This is building up this thing in my head, and that may not be what's going to happen. So then I'm like disappointing myself because the reaction's not what I deemed it to be. And it's like, oh, okay, I have to stop doing that. And that's literally what my life's been for the last 2 years, is when I realize that I'm doing that, I immediately go into like, okay, how do I fix it? How do I stop doing that? And then anytime it comes up, I just try to change the way I react to it. Like, me and you have had that conversation where like, I'll be very honest about it. I have flown off the rails numerous times throughout this journey. And luckily you've been there to like listen and like talk to me, but understanding that like, while yes, the things that I'm saying are beneficial and correct, the way I'm handling things are not. The way that I'm speaking about it, the way that I'm reacting, and it's keeping yourself from reacting out of emotion and reacting out of that logic, and like feeling the emotion, but not letting that control the outcome of what's going to happen. And that's a really tough one to like, I guess, get a grasp on, because
emotions are in the moment, man. I mean, that's the hard part, is you're passionate about your life, your things you do. So you want to pass along the passion, but you also be like, well, that motherfucker crazy. I ain't.
And I'm like, sure there's plenty of people that think that. I'm sure
there's a fine line right there too, and that's just everything in life. I mean, I was very passionate about football and coaching it, and sometimes I express my passion a little too hard and turn people off. That just happens. That's just part of it.
And I think that's life. Like, I think that's how you learn. That's how you, like, the right people come into your life. The wrong people kind of dissolve and you watch it play out. And I think it's being okay with that. I think that's a lot of, like, taking out that angst of, like, change, because it's fucking scary. Like, you don't want to have to change anything. But when you realize that the thing that is changing is bringing that peace along with it, where it's like, okay, yes, this is scary, but that change is going to come with this being fixed, whether it's like moving away from something that you don't want to do anymore, changing a habit, whatever it is, like accepting that, okay, hey, the way I'm doing this isn't correct. How can I utilize this and move forward? And it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of, like, making sure that, especially with people, like with things, I've learned just like separating yourself and figuring out what you want. Like, if it's bothering you, if things are stressing you out, I've learned to just not. I used to react a lot more, and now I just take a step back and go, okay, hey, I just need to figure my shit out. Like, let's take a step back. Is this what I want to do? Is this where I want to go? Is this who I want to see? Whatever the situation brings, taking that, like, second to just go, okay, what do I need to do here? Rather than, like, because you can get in that habit too of just, like, the want to be done with it, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, okay, I know what it is. I just need to get past it. And it's like, well, it's not always that easy. Like, because I learned that along the way too, where I would get these things out that were, like, kind of, I guess, again, with a lack of better wording, trigger that response, that survival, that fight or flight type response. Because my whole life I've done that with the expectations. Like, anything that I feel like I pour myself into, that I, like, really fall in love with, really give a lot of energy to, something inevitably happens that crashes that, and I get that, like, disappointment feeling. So then I realized I was doing it to myself, and it's like, oh, hey, dipshit, this is why like, it was all positive. Like, it was me, like, positively going, oh, I want this to be the way this happens. I want this to happen. This is how this is going to play out. And then it wouldn't, or then it would go a different direction or whatever. So rather than just living in the moment and, like, collecting those experiences and going, okay, like, that was cool, what's the next thing? It was like, that was it, that's going to be, and then it wouldn't happen. And it was like, oh, well, fuck, okay, back to the drawing board. What? And then I, like, again, I'm doing that with, this is just, like, obviously we're on the podcast, so this is just the easiest example, but I learned that I was doing that with everything. Anything that I'm, like, aggressively chasing, I'm almost like when you're hunting a deer and you can, like, push them, like, you shoot a deer and it's gonna, sometimes they run. Well, if you don't let it sit for a little bit, they get that adrenaline, and the further you go to them, the further they're going to keep pushing away from you, because they can feel that. And I think that's what I was missing, was that. And it seems like the more I back off of that, and the more I try to, I don't know, like, calm myself down a little bit and just be in the moment, like, take everything for what it is, enjoy little things, enjoy that I can walk outside and it's 75 degrees outside and I can go outside in a t-shirt and not freeze my fucking balls off. Like,
you don't have to worry about getting blown up.
Yeah, exactly. I am as healthy as I've ever been. So, like, for me to latch on to whatever my conception of success with this is, like, I give myself really, really, really high expectations. So, like, if we're not in the WWE and on Joe Rogan, then what the fuck's going on? Why are we not there yet? And, like, that's my drive for this, because I want it that's what I want. Like that's where I want to be. That's what I want this to go to, because to me, if I'm going to shoot for something, I'm shooting for the fucking highest of high. Like I'm not, and I obviously that can become detrimental. So it's like, it's been a very interesting, like, and I feel like I've been doing this for about 2 years with like tackling anything. And obviously I've talked about it in bits and pieces, but like, it's really hard to dive into. Like I've contemplated doing a podcast with my wife. Like I keep talking about it, and maybe it's just something, obviously I'm talking about it now, so it's out there now. So maybe that's what I needed to do, to, because like the way that me and her can talk doesn't, it's a different thing. Like for some reason, it just like, it's a very comfortable for me because we talk all the time anyway, but like it just comes out, and then she can, I don't know, like almost justify or verify some of the wilder shit, because it doesn't make sense always. But like taking anything that is causing you to either spiral or have anxiety, like in whatever that thing is, and there could be hundreds of them, but when it happens, rather than just like telling yourself like, oh, hey, we don't need to think about that or whatever, like going into that emotion and going, okay, why do I keep feeling that? Why does that keep coming up? Why, like, that's from a long time ago. What the fuck is that popping in my head right now? So instead of like just doing that and going, huh, whatever, and then just moving on about life or spiraling out of control in my head while pretending that wasn't happening, I started going, okay, well, what the fuck is this? Why is this? Why is this popping up? And then I just started like internalizing what I could. And then if I couldn't, I would start talking to my wife, to you, whatever it was. And I'd be like, hey, can you help me? And I'd just start fucking explaining what my brain was conjuring. And it was like, I just started feeling that weight go off. And I say that because my wife just had a very similar experience where like we were having this conversation and she kind of unlocked this like mental block. And it was like, holy shit. Like that was a big like weight lifted off. And it wasn't even anything. Why? Like it was just this like, oh, okay. That like, and I think the more you do that, the more you kind of, I guess, fight your demons to an extent. Like, because you don't even realize that they cause you consistent shit. Like even just little things like that someone said to you, like an off comment that someone said to you one time in high school that like you remember to this day. Like I remember I was like singing along with a song or something, and someone told me to stop singing. And like from that point on, that like stuck with me, where it was like, oh shit, okay, like my bad. And it was, I don't even remember what the context was or what it was, but like those like even that little thing that is just this throwaway, that it's like, oh shit, like that's the reason like I feel insecure about like going up and singing like karaoke. Not a fucking chance. Like that's something that's like that, but that's like a big mental block for me. And I think that's so like us doing the boudoir shoot, I have always been super insecure about my body, about taking my shirt off, whatever. So doing that was like fucking, whew, it was like, oh shit, here we go. Like, I'm going to have to do this. We've already done it. Fuck it. What do you do? And that was another one where like doing that made everything else that we do go, oh, this is nothing. Like I just had to take pictures basically butt ass naked with my friend in like somebody's yard. that was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and
a little
like,
bit.
So you do those things, or like I've told you before, I would get nervous about like I literally would knock on people's doors and have to talk to them for a living. And I like that anxiety every single time having to go talk to those people. Or like then I became a supervisor, and like the first time I realized I had to have like a meeting with my people, and I was like, oh fuck, I didn't even like contemplate that portion, that I have to like I have to physically talk to these people. Like this isn't just like I'm talking to my friend and I got a promotion. Like I have to physically talk to these people and do this. So then that was another like doing like Zoom calls with our managers, whatever. Like those kind of started that break I guess. Yeah. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, where I realized, like, okay, every time these things that you're super scared of or you're insecure of, the more you start tackling him, that wait list starts, I don't know, you start working through it, I guess. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. No, I used to be the same way. Like when I was locating, I'd have to call contractors to see where they were calling. And, it took and building up from when I was a kid, like I would sit there, I shit you not, I would sit there, numbers dialed, and I'm like trying to like hit the button, but not hit the button. And then finally, as soon as I hit it, like sometimes I'd hang up and have to redo it all again. And then over time, like when I was locating, when I first started locating, I'm like, I got to call people, I got to cold call people.
Yeah.
And they already know. But then as I found out, contractors don't answer the phone anyway because they're dicks. But I was like, then I get them, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I remember I used to like rehearse, but that's hi,
yeah.
Like I gotta do this. I'm just calling about your ticket. And I'm like, hey man, you got a dig ticket. You got to do like, I just need to know, like my GPS is whack. Where do I need to go? And then they're like, hold on. And then sometimes they'd call me back. Sometimes they wouldn't. Yeah. But it was just like, but that was. I don't like cold calling people. Like I don't like going cold because I'm like, now I'm better. I'm a lot better doing it now. But I'm just like, this sucks.
And maybe that's where part of mine stems from, because I was trying to think like because I don't remember anything from like childhood that makes me like not want to talk to people. So I wonder if it was just like I don't know, the way like movies, TV shows, whatever, like something molded that in, because I feel like the more we talk to people,
like you get it through osmosis almost, because I mean your parents are a lot like my parents. They don't want to be out in front. We're gonna go sit. We're at a party. We're gonna sit in the back corner. At least
that's how most people though. Like what we're doing right now is, I think, very, very alien to a lot of people. Like being able to just sit here on a microphone and have a conversation where we're being this like open and honest. I don't know that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know that like that's a normal reaction to this. Like I think that's why I love doing.
I just know, like I've been kind of an anomaly in my family. Like. Maybe it's because my brother is who he is, but when it comes to like a party or like something fun, I want to be up at the front. I don't want to be in the back. I want to be at the front. Where everybody else is like, I want to be in the back. And fuck that, get me in the front.
You kind of developed that over time, though, didn't you? Like that wasn't always the case.
It took a long time. I mean, like I said, growing up, it was about when I hit high school, and then get to college, and it's like, oh, I got to reset. I got to do this again. I became a small fish in a big pond again. Yeah. And then, but I still had that base, and then it's just slowly built up. And I mean, there's sometimes when I go, even now when I go out in public, I'm not, I watch the room, I read the room, I see where I can fit my stuff in, what I can do, because I don't want to come in guns blazing and be over the top.
Well, because you're going to have to read the situation in the room. And I think that's normal human nature, though. Because, like, again, we've listened to a lot of these wrestling things, and they talk about being super nervous or scared or insecure that people aren't going to react the same or like them. And I think that's just, like, normal human nature to kind of, like, it's that, like, sense of community. But I think we're losing that through technology and social media, where, like, yes, we're quote unquote more connected than ever, but as like
we're
humans,
disconnected more than ever too.
We're disconnected via this social media, where you have to read into what people are saying. If you're texting, you're it's that guessing game of what, and like I don't know how that is with you, but like that's why I love just being bluntly honest. I spent most of my life, like especially in my career when I worked for the cable company, everything was a fucking spin, a lie. How do we get out of this? How do we change this? And it's exhausting. Like then you live in this web of like I remember multiple times, like, why can't we just tell him what happened? Like, why can't we just say that
we've come too far?
Yeah, because because then it might do this, or they might think this. And I'm like, who fucking cares? Let's just tell them what happened. Let's fix it and move on. So, but I think that's a lot of life. We were watching an episode of, what the fuck's that cartoon called? Loud House. And the little girl is a scientist, and she created lie detecting goggles. And basically it was like doing what I do all the time, and like just kept calling everyone out every time they lied. And they were just like, and my whole family was just looking at me like, and I was like, I need this little girl in our house. Like, this would be awesome if I could just install this thing. But then like she realized that literally everyone was telling like little lies to protect these weird things. But I think that's just what we are as people. I think we're all a little weird. I mean, I could be wrong, but
we all have quirks. Like I used to be, dude. Let's go back. Let's rewind to the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upper elementary, huge wrestling fan. Everybody knew that.
Yep.
I used to get the magazines, and I would get there, and I would read all the matches and everything, and then I would make mythical tournaments out of everybody wrestling the show. And then I'd have notebooks of records of my coin flip shit. But guess what? It's happened in adulthood because as you got on, I was actually working on something for this NBA thing I'm doing now on my PlayStation.
But that's because you are listening to that inner child and you don't give a fuck what people think. And you're doing what you love, but other people are going to love that too. And like, I was thinking about this earlier, that with what I was just saying, with like everyone trying to kind of fit into that mold rather than just be themselves. So you stifle your personality because you don't want people to think you're weird. You don't want people to think you're gross. You don't want people to think that you do. We all do weird shit. Like the fact that people don't talk about sex or taking a shit is hilarious. Like we all fucking do it. Like how did we all get here?
I sent a lot of pictures of turds.
Yeah, but most people cannot do that. Like most people don't speak about like taking a shit or having sex, and it's like, how the fuck do you think we all got here? Like, but that's why I think it's
Did we get here because somebody pooped?
Yeah, I guess like if people just pop up out of fucking nowhere, but then like it's weird to talk to your kids about it. So then like same thing we did, where you're going off of American Pie and all these other random ass things that we watched and saw, and that's how you develop your mindset on what this stuff should be or what you're doing, because everybody's like terrified to talk about these things because they've always been made taboo.
I remember the first time Kai asked me about rapé. He goes, I can't say it because I don't want to get canceled, but what's this? And I go,
I was like, what? I gotcha.
I'll never, it was 2018. We were on our way to a football tournament at Ben Davis, and it was me and Kai in the car, and it was Jordan and Griggsy in the car, and we were driving, and I'm up front, Kai's caddy corner in the back, and I go, he asked just out of the blue, and I'm like,
like, oh shit, all right.
Well, I'm like, how do I say this in a way that he's going to remember, and then it's not just like absolutely traumatizing? And my dumbass, and that flash, I said, well, bud, I go, that means you're having you're trying to have relations with somebody and they don't want to. And he goes, well, what's that mean? And I'm like, oh God. Okay. And just popped in my head, and I think it stuck, but probably the worst example ever. I said, well, like you got this friend and like you want to do stuff. And so you like just rip his pants down and the whole car just erupted. I'm like, I didn't know what else to do.
I'm trying my best, guys. I'm a young parent.
Related to like, we're going to a football tournament. Like, okay, so there's just dudes everywhere. I'm like, and I remember Jordan looked at me and goes, that's probably the worst example. I said, no, you're right. It was terrible. But Kai goes, all right, thanks for clearing that up. I'm like, all right, well, I'm still work. I don't know. But I had 25 seconds to figure something out, and that's what came in, and we rolled with it.
And at least you said something, because the opposite, you could have just shut it down and been like, man, like, you don't need to talk about that right now. But like that means he was asking because he heard it somewhere. Like that came up, whether it was via media or in person, like that came up in something that brought.
I also told him, because he got a cell phone way too damn early. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah, that's just life. I didn't say anything.
Well, and I said, don't use that word. I said, that's one word we don't you don't want to say that, because I remember thank God for my brother. Thank God for older brothers. I learned so many lessons from my older brothers through his shit. You are the older brother, so you learn the hard way.
Well, so remind me, we'll get back to that. I'll explain to you how I
remember I was in first grade, and the new Toy Story just hit, and I got a new Toy Story game for Sega.
Okay.
And you're Sheriff Woody, and you're like running around the room. There was like a wooden train. You got to like hit it. You have to whip it with his pull string thing.
Yep.
And I'm whipping him, and my brother's in the room. Because he had the Sega in his room, and I was playing in his room. I said, "Oh, I'm paying these guys," and he goes, "Bro, you can't say that." And I'm like, "I thought it meant whip. I didn't know." And I'm just over and over. And he finally beat the crap out of me. And I go, oh, no, can't say that. Nope. So, yeah.
I remember doing that in middle school. I was playing, I can't remember. I want to say it was like Aladdin or something on Sega, but there was these frogs that had horns on them, and I kept calling them horny toads. And my cousins kept laughing, and I'm like, I don't. But obviously they were a year older than me. I hadn't quite understood. And then I think it was like later in, they were like, all right. I'm like, would you just, like, I'll stop. But what, like, I don't understand what I'm saying wrong. And then they eventually explained it to me. I was just like,
okay. I'm thinking of, they're only a year ahead of you and you think it's funny and they hope you get in trouble saying it.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the difference of puberty. That is that's the 6th and 7th grade difference, or 5th and 6th grade difference.
Well, I remember I had, and my mom, thank God love her, I had a stuffed penguin. I'm sure I said this before, but I didn't know what to name him. And I was like, oh, you got a beak. I'm going to call him Pecker. She goes, that's not appropriate. And I didn't, she didn't tell me why. She said, that's not appropriate. All right, Mom, I'll change his name. But
because as parents, like, we understand the context. So, like, now you listen to songs that we listened to as kids, and you're like, Jesus, like, how are we? Like, no wonder we're all fucked up in the head. Like, how are we all listening to this shit as, like, we're all, like, at school dances, rocking out to fucking trap music. Like, which is hilarious. Like, got straight rap as, like, a bunch of 12 and 13-year-old kids.
Well, that's just us being all, country like, white dancing folks that don't know what rap on each other.
It's hysterical. Like, if you remember, well, and most of the girls, like, you're dancing, like, at our generation, the spaghetti strap tank tops and the skirts were very prevalent. Well, and it's like, no wonder our generation is a bunch of fucking degenerates
like this while the girls are going, you know.
That was big with the thongs rising up the back in our high school days.
There was a couple times I had to tuck my boner into my waistband because I didn't want to embarrass myself, you know, Mr. at these
Moore,
places.
You got to be part of the class?
You got to be very careful. Like, what's that? That's a flash drive.
Yeah, it's a flash drive. Don't worry about it. I need this. But it makes perfect sense, like, that development, but like you don't think about that stuff. And like as parents, we hear songs now and it's like, oh, our kids have no idea that that's what that means. Like, they literally don't know until you teach them. And that's where, like, a lot of people, like, you see a lot of society just like just get on Twitter for 20 minutes and you can see all kinds of fabulous, wonderful things in our world. But
you know, Twitter is the one social media that I like. I remember when I first got a Twitter in 2011. I don't even remember what my name was. It was probably something stupid. But I made my first tweet and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. And like, I tried, and I still will get on our Twitter from time to time, but I'm like, this isn't, it's not fun to me. So I'm like,
It's negative fucking chaos is what it's turned into. Like, it used to be my source because I remember whenever I first got Twitter, everyone made fun of me. And like, what are you going to tweet? And I was like, I don't, like, all these comedians and wrestlers and people that I enjoy watching are on here, so it makes sense. Like, I kind of want to see what it is. And then, like, I created that, and like, I kind of just followed along and stuck with it. I never really utilized it, but I always just like followed along and watched it. And it went from this almost like Facebook style for celebrities, where people are just like putting out things that they're doing. They're kind of like, hey, I'm doing this today, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And now it's turned into this aggressive news source where everyone's trying to break news, but then there's also an additional 50% that are trying to flood it with bullshit breaking news that all looks legit, to where
wasn't it originally kind of like a smaller version of a blog? Like, you're like, hey, because I go back to Magic Johnson. I haven't been on his Twitter for a while, but I remember one podcast years ago. They're like, Magic Johnson's Twitter is the best thing ever. He's like, I woke up and ate some toast and I went to the Lakers facility, and this, like, it's all within 200 characters. It's like, I love following Magic Johnson, but I haven't been on there since. So
that's really how it was. Then it turned into this, like, everyone's just promoting, or it's complete chaos. And right now, It sounds terrible, but Twitter has created like almost a race war amongst itself. It is insane. My whole Twitter feed is people either talking shit about white people or talking shit about black people. And it's like, what in the fuck is like, what year are we in? Like, what is happening and why is this? But it all stems from, there's been 2 like monster incidents. If you want to go look them up, but I'm not diving into either of them because again, I'm not because I'm scared to dive into them, but because I don't want to continue to do the same thing these other people are doing and keep adding to it. So whatever, I'm going to stay in my lane, but it turned into this. Everybody on Twitter, like every other post was either someone talking shit about black people, someone talking shit about white people. And it plays into what I was saying before. If you flood the internet with this stuff, it almost seems like it's being done on purpose. Yeah. Like the patterns are the same, the way it was put out. Like it's almost like they do these things in cycles because they want the real news to be gone. So everything gets washed into this. And then people have that ADD instant gratification, like sticking to it and paying attention. They know that if they flood it, it just goes away. Like that Epstein list has been circulating for like, I think damn near a decade or something at this, or maybe it was 6 years. Like it's been like 2019, 2016. I can't remember, one of those 2, I believe. But for that long, they've known that there is a pedophile organization ran by these people. We're going to arrest the heads of it, but not a single person who was purchasing the humans. None of those people and this guy was involved with all these high power people. They're like, none of it quite makes sense.
They know one of them's the Godfather. He's the puppet master. He's got the strings. They don't want to go after this guy because then they all get cut down.
Yeah. Or like, but that tells you how much power these outside sources have and what like goes on. Like they just banned all of red dye or all of the dyes now, I believe as of 2026. I don't remember what the actual date was, but they banned all of them in the United States.
I'll be right back.
But basically they banned them all because these other countries are already utilizing things. And a lot of these companies they use beets, they use blueberries. This stuff's being like colored and flavored with other things. And they already have these policies in place. They just knew they could sell it in America way cheaper because those dyes were available. They can just, and you can taste the difference. I told you the story. We got snow cones the other night at the Snow Biz here in town, and they now have a dye-free menu. Well, my kids ordered their cotton candy. They ordered the pink and blue. Like I'm not a psychopath. It is what it is. Like I try my best to teach them, but I'm also going to let them be kids and do their thing. So they got cotton candy with marshmallow, which if you go to Snow Biz, I was skeptical. That was fucking delicious. But so they get theirs and I try it and I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to get that. So I got it, but I got the dye-free one because I was like, I just want to taste what the difference is. Obviously clear. It just looks like I have rice with, cream on top. So it did not have the most glorious aesthetic, not at all, but it tasted so much better, and both of my kids tried it and were like, oh my God, that really does taste better. And I guarantee you they both order the dye-free next time because of like both of them went, oh, is that your Miami Vice?
No, this is Sour Bucks.
Ooh, okay.
Free plug. I stumbled upon this on TikTok shop and I was like, oh, cool. They'll send me, I bought it. Yeah, I wasn't a free sample. I bought it, but I've been testing it out because I got 24 different flavors. This ain't got the dyes. And that's where I was like, okay. And that's where but it tastes whatever. I don't know what Sour Bucks is going to taste like, but it's probably going to look like gummy.
We can utilize this for, we'll post it to them and see if we can get an ad from them.
Yeah.
Let's do a live reaction of.
Yeah. Okay. Cause I can clip this down and put it on TikTok. Cause I'm like, I'm not opening a can unless it's on TikTok, but here we go. I got Sour Bucks. But like, I've opened it up and I've actually spilled some on me because I'm clumsy, but it's clear. And that's where I was like, ooh, my inner Hulk Hogan here. That's a darn good beer. It's a darn good energy drink.
What's it taste like? Give me
like gummies.
Okay.
Not those gummies, but like children's gummies. But I remember, you remember when Monster first hit, dude? Like, I'd say mid 2000s. Monster was, I still love Monster. I love it.
Absolutely fucking horrendous for you, though.
I know. Do you remember the BFCs?
Yeah, the what was it? Big fucking can was what it was called. It was like a half jug of Monster.
And I remember one time I was riffing with my brother, and we were like, by Wednesday, I had like 44 hours. That's how long we riffed in 3 days. I remember going to the carnival with you to watch your sister dance. I don't know why I did that, but I must have had nothing else.
You were a good secondary brother.
I remember taking 2 of them things with me to the carnival. I drank 64 ounces of Monster in one like sitting.
You just recently did that at a wrestling event like less than 6 months ago.
No. Those were 16-ounce cans, not 32.
You drank 4 of them.
That's true. Anyway, but like I remember, so when like the zero sugar, because I like the original Monster flavor, it's just good. But I guarantee it's green. I'm almost 90% sure it's got the green dye in it. But then the zero sugar one came out, and I was like, oh, they've got zero sugar in like the good tasting Monster because the rest sucks.
Yeah.
But so I just start pounding those, and I was like, oh, that's probably got bad stuff in it too. But these, like, since now, mind you, this is the 3rd one I've ever had because I was like, what's this bucked up thing? So I was like, all right, we'll try it out. And
they do have them at Walmart for anyone who wants to try them. I believe they have them at our local Walmart.
This won't make it in the TikTok portion, but I will go buy them at Walmart and then try to resell them on TikTok.
I mean, TikTok shop. Go there and get your.
Go to the TikTok shop. If you buy it, my link, I make $4. So
you need to make a video that just says, "Go to TikTok, get bucked up."
Get bucked up. But now, like, seriously, now that I know they're at Walmart, I'm gonna go buy some more when I need them.
Yeah,
because
they have pre-workout and like they have a whole line of supplements and stuff. I actually think they have a ad on their website or on Facebook where you can get like a package of their samples, a shaker and a shirt or something for like $15 or whatever.
Yeah, Danny T Pleaky 5 told me about that.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, I ordered that. And he goes, yeah, I only ordered it when they have like those deals going. And I go, I have no idea what you're talking about. The first time I ever heard about Bucked Up was on TikTok a couple years ago. It's this high school football coach in Texas. He's like an ambassador now. He talks about him so much. He's like a day in the life of a Texas high school football coach, and like goes through his day, and then like 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. He's like, I get to the gym, I get to the weight room at 5 with my Bucked Up pre-workout, go over film. We go to like Texas football, dude. They do 2-a-day practices like year round, and he goes, get to the practice, and then I take, eat my banana. I think he takes another Bucked Up supplement, and then he's like, here, goes through his like school day, and then it's that and the other. Eventually, end up getting sponsored or something to do with Bucked Up, but that's the first time I ever heard about.
Interesting.
Bucked Up.
That's not a bad idea. Like I've thought about doing that, like just to walk through the things that I take, which it changes very aggressively though. I'm very quick if things aren't working, or like I had a pre-workout the other day that turned my shit green and I realized it had blue dye in it. I'm like, you motherfuckers. But I'd already spent, again, this is my second one. And it literally on the package, because I ordered this one.
That's the one that says careful in California or something.
Yeah. So that was the gorilla mode or something that I bought last time. It ended up having fucking leads and metals and bullshit.
Is that Gorilla Brain? Because I've seen that on the TikTok shop for sale.
That might be what it was. I don't remember. It was Gorilla something.
It's like, oh, it's like $1. And I go, I've made a lot of cheap stuff. I've had a lot of cheap stuff enter my system because, I'm kind of tight at it.
Because they don't regulate it. That's why it's fucking cheap.
Do you remember? Oh, Menards used to sell it. I think it was an energy drink, and it was like $1 a can, like 10 years ago. Because I was like,
Rip something, or is that
Rip energy, baby?
Like, I have no idea where the fuck I just pulled that out of.
I would love to see a can of that to see what it says on the label.
Hold on, we will pull that up. I actually have a comparison of Bucked Up and Monster Ready to Rock that I wanted to pull up. So,
oh man,
before we go into, but this is good though because you're switching over to Bucked Up, and I want to show you what you're doing with the monsters. Because once I started reading this shit, I was like, oh, I can't. Like, I don't.
I'm just going to go on record right now and say, Monster, if you want to like give me a brand deal, I don't like, my body has gone through enough crap. You give me a couple mil.
I'm in,
man.
All right. So this is the energy and performance comparison. So it really kind of, the only difference was the caffeine level is lower in Monster, which is surprising. And then it's quick quick energy boost, less focused, more jittery, shorter burst, crash more likely. So that was kind of the negatives there. But then the sugar. So 0 sugar in Bucked Up, 27 to 54 grams of sugar in Monster. Obviously, there are sugar-free options available, but then they use the sucralose and asulfame? I don't know. I might just be dumb. Asulfame, K, in sugar-free versions, so I don't know what that is, but
probably like Diet Coke, dude. You know, they put aspartame in Diet Coke, the shit that throws in formaldehyde. Yeah, it's in your Diet Coke, and everybody's like,
but it's Diet
Coke. It's like, no, you're putting worse stuff in your body. Get the full octane Coca-Cola. It's bad for you anyway. It'll probably rust out your parts, but it's going to taste better than Diet Coke because Diet Coke tastes like poo.
Nailed it.
It's awful.
But if you're drinking Diet Coke every single day, it's not like that. You might as well just have a Coke a couple times a week. Like it's not. There's so many like. That diet, that 0 sugar is a marketing strategy. Like we learned that. Who were we talking to that talked about the organic? I don't remember, but basically the organic, you have to go through all of this stringent testing to get that organic label. Yeah. The rest of them are using a marketing strategy of 0 sugar, but we have 75 different poisons in diet.
There's full octane, organic, and then the in between, whatever. I can't remember what the exact name was, but yeah, most of them are the in between, but they say this, whereas organic is the best for you. Then you got the normal, and then whatever's in between.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things out there that are made. Obviously, everyone's trying to make money. They're all looking at the profit margins. They're all looking at how year over year the numbers can increase. Like if you've ever worked for a company, I assume they're all the same. It seems like everybody we talk to and the shit that I dealt with, it's pretty commonplace in most corporations. That's just how it operates. The human mindset is not there. It's a money-driven mindset. So those are the same people that are operating our food and our medicines. And that's why all this shit's coming out now, that it's like, hey, these motherfuckers are, and it's, whether it's malicious or not, they're negating the health risks to make their profit. Mm-hmm. And that can't happen. And I think that should be fucking illegal. If you're knowingly poisoning the population to make a buck, fuck you. Like you shouldn't be in business. That's fucked up.
Like the thing with the dyes and like energy drinks,
unless you pour one out for the dead homies, you don't know what color it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying, like, if I'm paying $4 for an energy drink, I'm not dumping it out. Here's what gets me. You give me a bright colored label, it's going to pop my eyes. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, I want that. Like, that's why
they dye shit. That's why they do it.
Make the outside look nice, and then the inside just whatever, make it healthy. I'm in like Flint, man. Yep. Like, Monster was green and black, and I was like, ooh, that's different. I like that. Because Red Bull fucking sucks. I've never liked Red Bull. And it's also like $7 a can. Yeah. I'm not rich. Like, I don't know what kind of tennis player that buys that shit.
It's all fucking you up. I forget what I did. I did a comparison of energy drinks one time, and it was like that Celsius. They're like, it was testing for traces of meth, I believe. I forget where I saw that article, but it was like testing for traces of meth. The shit in these energy drinks is horrible. Like, I wish that I would have never gotten myself hooked on them.
There's something addictive in it, because I remember
100%.
When I was a locator, we got like, it was almost ritual. You'd go to Casey's, get you a breakfast sandwich or something, and then you get an energy drink. Well, they usually got a deal. You get 2 for $3 or whatever.
Mine was always Amp.
Huh?
Amp was always mine, the Mountain Dew one. And it was horrible for you.
I always enjoyed it, but it was never like I had to have it. But when I'm double fisting the 2 energy drinks, it would take honestly 6 to 7 days to get off of it, because I just have it. Okay, 2 more. And then one day I'm like, what am I doing? There's like, I just spent $18 in freaking energy drinks for 6 days, probably screwed myself all the way up. So then
you're overdosing on caffeine. Like, you're legitimately overdosing on it.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's why I was always like hesitant to get an energy drink, because I knew, I was like, as soon as I get one, I'm going to have like 12. And You know, that's probably the most addicting thing that I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And I've had cigarettes, chew, drugs, alcohol, and the energy drinks are probably the most addicting.
And that's a big problem too. That's what's crazy. Like when you see these like children walking around with Monsters and stuff, and it's like, whoa, like buddy, that's like my kid asks all the time, and I'm like, no, like absolutely not, man. Yeah. Like and I'm sure he thinks that I'm an asshole, but it's like, hey, don't get yourself hooked on these things to where, because it really is a mental fuck. It like there's been times recently that like I realized recently, like, so I made that comment about like, I think you're overdosing on it, because that's what I think I was doing. I think you can drink it too much to where it almost like is an overload to the system, because I legitimately drank a C4 the other day and took a nap. Like I drank a C4 and I was laying on the couch, like sitting on the couch drinking this C4. I made it through about 3/4 of it, and I legitimately fucking passed out on the couch. And it was like, well, like that doesn't check out at all.
That's what, dude. I mean, when I'll get an energy drink, and I don't drink them too much now, especially given plasma. That like it hurts.
That's what you said. It turned into syrup.
But it's like I don't ever get like, I know when people were like, "Oh, I'll get the jitters." I don't know if I'm just, it doesn't work, because for me to get jitters, I've got to up the dose to. You know, we're talking 3-4 cans at one time. And that's when I remember I went to a local place here a long time ago. There's a bunch of energy drinks. And I said, hey, because he was like, oh, it's packed with energy. All right, well, I'm effing tired here, pal. So what do you got? He goes, you're gonna love it. And I said, okay, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I drink 2 Monsters at a time, and they don't do shit. So what's this gonna do? He goes, no, you're gonna be, because when I want to get energy, I want the shakes.
You want that jittery, like, see, right. I can't do that. I'm gonna puke jittery.
Oh, dude. And I was like, he got me the drink, and he goes, what do you think? I go, tastes okay. I said, I just spent $8. I could have gone and got $5 for the Monsters, but whatever. And it didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with you remember Jacked?
Oh yeah. That didn't do anything for you?
No. The original formula did nothing. I remember, so it was our championship game for the Wildcats, and I'm like, dude, I want to mow some dudes over. I want to just get crazy. And I said, I'll die out there. I don't give a shit. So 3 scoops of Jacked. They gave me 3 scoops of Jacked, and I mean, we're talking about an hour.
How is your heart still pumping?
I don't know. But 3 scoops of Jacked. I pop it, and like I start feeling it, dude. I'm like, oh yeah, like I feel my skin crawling. I'm like, here we go. As soon as kickoff happened, went away. I'm like, shit.
Damn it. See, I think you just have some like mental superhuman thing where I think that's an underestimated thing, is that power of perception. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you have that, like, oh, this is gonna jack me up, it's probably going to. If you have that, like, oh, this ain't going to do shit, it's probably not going to do shit. I think it's a lot of like placebo and effectiveness based off of your mentality and perspective. I think that's why, like, when people do like wild drugs and have a bad trip, I think that's what goes on. I think like if you have demons, and like they talk about that with like mushrooms and shit too, where they said if you have your demons, don't do those, because it's going to make all that shit come to light. And I think that's why people lose their mind, because like getting rid of, kind of back to what we started this with, like you get rid of that shit over time, and you kind of release those like mental blocks, and you by default switch your perspective, because you start kind of seeing things slightly differently, and then you keep dwelling into that positivity. Yes.
I know you talk about conquering your fears. There's one, I'm not doing it. And that is snakes. The fuck I have them.
I've not conquered that one. I've gotten better at like, I can like visibly see them and not like have a guttural like
what about
panic
grabbing one, touch one?
Ooh, I don't know. I think if like put in the situation where I know like it's safe and it's not going to startle me, I think I could do it, where it's like I could definitely get over that fear now. But if again, like prior to us doing all the shit that we've done, I don't think I would have been able to. But now like that would have been an immediate hell no before, to where now it's like, yeah, whatever. Like if that opportunity came up and it was like a fun thing, like I would absolutely suck it up and do it. But I would not like seek it out.
For me, dude, it's like fight or flight. Like, oh, I've got nowhere else to go. It's either him or me. That's the only time. Because I've had those things. Oh, I could, like, we went to the alligator farm in Alabama last summer.
Oh yeah,
and somebody had a snake, and I said, "Get the fuck away from me." I held an alligator, no problem, but I wasn't touching the snake.
I wonder what that is. What is, like, because that's a big, like,
that's my mother.
No, I mean, like, the humanity collective being scared of either snakes or spiders. Like, my wife is terrified of spiders. I'm terrified of snakes, but like vice versa. I can, like, we have a cool ass spider that lives right outside of our door right now, and it pisses my wife off because I won't, like, kill him. And I'm like, I like him. He's cool. He just, like, hangs out. I forget that my wife has, like, she's gotten much better the same way I have, but like that fear of, like, yeah, but I don't want him to jump on my fucking head. So can you please, like, remove him and put him somewhere else?
A lot of that with, it's when you're young, like we're talking under 5 when you're, because I blame my mom on this for my fear of snakes, because she's definitely terrified of snakes. Well, my mom was a school teacher. So in the summers, Dad was working on the farm. I was home with my mom all summer. And so if we saw a snake, it was a freak out, like the world's ending. So I think growing up in that atmosphere. So now I'll never forget. There was one time I was riding my 4-wheeler across the farm, and I'm in midair in this 4-wheeler, and I see a snake go by. I scream like a freaking girl, dude. I'm on an ATV in the air. It's nowhere near me, and I freak out. So I think a lot of that is how you grow up. Like, is either one of your parents scared of snakes?
Yes, Dad always was. Yeah. But collectively, though, that's an incredibly common fear, like, amongst humans. So okay, this is what we should do. If you're watching this now, obviously we recorded this yesterday, so you're going to have to go back to our page. But when we get done on this, I'm going to put a poll that asks if you're afraid of snakes, spiders, or neither. And I'm curious of what the results are of, like, collectively how many people are scared of, like, snakes, spiders, or we can go other, not neither. Everybody's scared of something. So all of you macho people who want to pretend like you don't have any fears, yes, you do. You're lying.
Oh, you're pointing at me. I'm like, no, I told
you. Pointing out to the ether. You're lying. Face your fears.
I'm afraid of bad haircuts and snakes.
Not bad fears.
Oh, no, I don't like heights. You know that. Not a big fan of heights.
No, that's never a fun one.
It's not really the ball. It's the landing.
So I think it's that, for me, like I said with snakes, if I'm in front of them and I know that we're good, I don't have that. It's being startled by the
start. That's a bad
one. With,
like, I love looking at snakes through glass. Like, I love looking at snakes through glass.
You do that, like, you're facing that fear in a safe. Like, know you're safe, and it's almost like you're saying "fuck you" to that fear. Like, I think that's why you like it, maybe.
But now, when I see a snake out in the wild, depending how far away it is, it doesn't bother me. But I'm watching it. Like, I don't take my eyes off of it. Probably they're not like velociraptors hunting packs, because I wouldn't see the other two coming at me because I'm looking at that one.
Maybe it correlates to, like, snakes in the grass in real life, where they kind of sneak up on you out of nowhere and you have to handle them.
Because every time I see one, dude, like, I tense up and I look at it and I watch him until I can. Because if he crosses my line of sight, I watch him until I know he's away, or she. I'm an equal opportunity snake hater. I don't care. But
I hate all
I know they're out of the way, I move forward. But I'll sit there and I usually got something in my hand if I'm out in the woods. So not a brick like my dad, but that's just how it, like.
Yeah. But I think that's a normal, like, all right, so we will for sure put that poll up today, and obviously it'll run through tomorrow when this comes out. So if you're watching this right now, go back and answer the poll, because I'm curious where like collective, because it's weird that, like, but I think that's the case with so many things, where as humans, we're so much more alike than we realize. But all of the, like, kind of what we were talking about earlier, these taboo things that you're told to not talk about, creates that divide, because you just don't understand people or their point of view, or you have no interest in understanding someone else's point of view. But then, like, you learn where they're coming from and the things that, like, are difficult for them, or the things that are important in their life, like, because we're all very similar, but we all have different interests and wants and desires and needs. And I think, like, you do get very, we're all selfish. That's just part of being, like, you have to be, if you're not selfish, you're not taking care of yourself. Like, again, we use this analogy a lot, but like, I'll kind of dumb it down a little more. But like, if I have a full cup of water and my kid comes up with an empty cup and says, "Hey man, I need a drink," I can easily go, "Yeah, man, here you go, take half of it." And I'm still able to drink my drink, and he can go on about his day. If he comes up to me with an empty cup and I also have an empty cup, then it's like, "Yeah, dude, sorry, go figure out and find your own drink." Like, that's the way I look at it. So if I'm not taking care of myself, like I told you, like with energy, with anything that I feel where there's like disrespect leaning in or taking advantage of or whatever it is, very quick to start like pulling back. And I used to lash out about that shit. Now I've learned just to go, just dial it back a little bit. Let's just let's watch what happens and see where it goes. But I think, like, internally working yourself through those things, like, it's a very freeing experience. And that's why I think I'm so addicted to it, because I just, like, I want to keep, I don't know, furthering that and progressing it. And because it makes you feel lighter. It makes you feel like when you get that shit out of your brain, it fucking makes a real big difference. And I think it tells people what you're going through and what your perspective is on things. And obviously, we, like, me and you have had a lot of conversations where we're going back and forth about like ideas or whatever, not in like a negative way, but us just bantering. And it's like, "Oh, I never would have thought about that." Like, that's a great, but that's where most of our big successes in what we're doing have come from, where like we go back and forth bantering about an idea, and it's like, oh, it kind of gets legs and starts gaining traction in life, and then it becomes this thing because of that communication. And I think that's why, like, in every aspect of life, I crave that realism, that communication, because then you don't ever guess about anything, and then I can be a better friend, I can be a better husband, I can be a better dad, because I understand what you're all dealing with or what you're thinking or what your things are. Like, "Oh, hey, when you do this pisses me off, or this fucks with me," or whatever those things are, or vice versa. "Hey, I love when you're doing this," or like I told you this morning. Like, obviously these are more things with like my wife and my children, but with you, it's like, "Hey man, if you need me to do stuff, will you please reach out?" So it's not like, I don't ever want it to be overwhelming to you. And I get very lost and bored during the day where I'm like, I need something to like be creative and occupy my time. But then it's like, I'll go in to do something, and then I get halfway through it and I'm like, fuck, this wasn't the right thing to do. I don't want to do this anymore. And then it's like, I'll go through 3 or 4 of those before I just go, fuck it. And then I'll go outside and walk around or go find something else to do, because then I'm like mentally just, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turns into that. But I don't know. That's been like a big portion of that has been, I don't know, kind of addressing that and just being very, very like open and honest about shit. And it like really, really takes a lot of weight off. It takes a lot of the guessing games out of life. It takes like, then you just kind of know where everything stands. And there's no like, "Oh, I wonder if I wonder if this person's cool with me." Like, yeah, as long as the people that are in my life are cool with me and everything's like on the straight and narrow, the rest of it's very irrelevant. I would love for people to enjoy me and whatever, but I also know that that's not going to happen, and not everyone's going to like a fan of the things that I say or we say, whatever. So trying to, I guess, live or like get on here and speak to appease to everybody is equally detrimental. Like, you just kind of be as good of a person as you can, say the things that you believe and kind of speak your truth. And I don't know, I feel like it makes life a hell of a lot easier.
You just got to be happy. Go, because you only get one life to live. You got to be happy. And the sooner you figure out what makes you happy, the sooner you'll be happier, I guess.
I read a thing that said I forget how it was worded, but something along the lines of you're alive during the day, but are you living? Like, are you injecting life into your days type thing? It was like, oh, that's a great, like, because it is, you get kind of in that everyday groove or that thing, and you start like the days kind of start passing and you're not doing anything, you're hanging out on the couch or whatever, and it's like, the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I not, like, I'm not getting any closer to my goals. I'm not. And I used to fall into that all the time, where like something would happen and I would just fall off, almost, where it was like it would hit me hard enough that it was just like, fuck it, I'd fall off the diet, I'd fall off the weights. But now I use it's motivation. Like, when things fall off, when things don't work, then it's one of those like, okay, that wasn't meant to be, and I got to keep working. I've got to keep doing what I'm doing. I've got to keep, like, whether that's, altering course and trying to find new things or adding a different touch to it, whatever it is, like, continuously evolving and growing until it becomes what you want it to be. Like, just because, I guess that was another thing that I dealt with, was that, like I said, the expectations and like almost putting a time frame on it too, where like I was deeming the success based off of it. So then it was starting to like fuck with me. And obviously you've utilized the Jared's on assignment multiple times, but it's like, but I don't mind talking about it. Like, that's what I mean. Like, when I start feeling that way, I will pull my energy back from everything because I want to figure out what I need to do. Because again, that's not cool for my wife. That's not cool for my kids. It's not cool for you, for what we're trying to build. Like, so if I'm not able to give my all and be mentally doing what I need to do, and it's a detriment, well, then I got to take a step back and go, okay, how do I fix this? What do I do to not feel that way? What do I do to address this and make this like back to status quo or adjust? And then like the more I've done it, the more like each time it happens, it is such a fucking like weight lifted off experience where it, like, I don't know, it is very addicting once, but like getting through that, of like breaking that fear of just letting shit go, and like these things that you're the most scared to talk to people about, those are usually the biggest ones that have the holds on you. And when you can break down that wall and like, all right, I got some shit I gotta say, and you start getting it off your chest. Not everybody has to do it live on a podcast, just FYI. This is batshit crazy.
But I do better in front of a camera than I do behind the camera. So
honestly, again, you could have asked me 2 years ago if this is what I thought I'd be doing, and I'd been like, "You're out of your fucking mind." No, I don't like talking. Well, I don't like.
I watched a TikTok. I've been a lot more active on TikTok lately, and I'm glad I'm back, because I've always, that's my favorite social media anyway.
Good.
But it was a bigger TikToker. I don't even know his name. I really don't even know his name, but he's like, man, he goes, content creation it's probably one of the toughest things to get recognized on, because basically, and this is my sum up of what he said, I was like, you're basically battling every swinging dick with a camera, because and that's like, how do you stick out? You know what? Maybe I don't, but I'm going to post videos on TikTok that I find fun.
Yeah. And that's where I think our honesty plays into what we're doing. Like, I think the way we talk about this stuff, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of people that do what we're doing that talk the way we do. Like that, the I don't know, the openness, the realism, I guess. Like, there's not a whole lot of like production quality to what we're doing. Like, we just jump on here and do our thing.
Well, and I try to look at everything like as a conversation, or like, I don't want to put on an act that I'm perfect. God knows I'm not perfect. Well, and I will stumble words. I will mess up. I will. And that's why I don't like editing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because
then you give that fake thing where people go, well, what was that? What did you edit?
Well, everybody's going to think I'm like a perfect talker, dude. And no, I'm not a talker. No. Like, there's days, like, it's funny. I'll drive my wife crazy sometimes, because there's some days I won't say shit to her, just because I just don't want, like, I just want to sit. I just want to listen. I'm just like, I'll have like listening days, and she's like, why don't you want to talk? Because I talk a lot. So I just want to, I really just enjoy.
So do you ever tell her though, like, hey, I kind of need a quiet day to just recalibrate.
I said, I'm good. I just quiet. I said, I just kind of do my thing. I'll throw my headphones in and just do my thing.
Well, that's what I learned when I do that, because I do the same thing. Like sometimes I just need to go outside, put headphones in, and work in the yard, and like go walk, go lift, whatever it is. Like sometimes I need that, but I didn't realize doing that. I wasn't telling her. So then she was in her head thinking that I was like not into our relationship, not like I was mad at her. And I didn't realize that. And I do that a lot. We're all just like, I'm in my head trying to figure this out, trying to like think of new things, trying to come up with new shit, whatever it is. And I get myself like going, and I just one track mind, start doing my shit. And that was part of that conversation we had where it was like, oh, I didn't realize that was that was fucking with you.
Because I bet I have probably 4 phone calls that I've not because I've been ignoring them. I'll get them back, and then I don't. And then I'm like, I got to call them back.
So I think that's part of the people pleasing thing though too. Because I've again like that, and I hope that like you said this a second ago, and I hope that people understand. This is why I don't generally talk about this. I always feel like I'm being a pompous ass, like, oh, I just know how to fix this. No, I know because I've lived through this. Like this is what I'm dealing with right now. So, but like, oh damn it, I just went on that tangent. I lost my fucking train of thought.
Here, pal.
But it really like you don't realize that you're in your head and then you're creating this whole other thing for that person. And I didn't realize, and that was just because there was that lack of communication. If I just said, hey, I'm going to go put my headphones in, I just need to like work on this idea and I need to just like really get into it. I just need a few minutes to like check out. I promise we're good. And like just that quick little thing has made a world of difference where like that little bit of communication, it was like, oh fuck, that is a very big deal in a lot of things. And I've learned that with everything that we're doing. Like the more I can communicate, it's not on other people. I just need to keep communicating the way I can, and then let everything kind of play out the way it's going.
This is a public service announcement to anybody that listens. On Thursdays when the weather's warm, I'm embracing my inner dad. I am mowing grass from like noon to 2, so I will get back with you sometime. But I really enjoy mowing grass now. I don't know why.
Because it's therapeutic and you get to check out. That's what I was getting ready to say about the people pleasing thing. I think that like normalizing, if I don't want to respond to something, I'm not going to fucking respond to it. Like if I don't have the energy to deal with it, or I see something like I am that type that if I see it, I feel like I have to respond right then. And I've had to break that. Like I've had to stop, because you really will. Like I can get messages on there all day long. Like, so for me to have to like I'm going to get on there when I get on there, I'm going to check it. And if I have the energy to respond, I'm going to respond. If I don't want to fucking deal with it, I'm just not going to deal with it. Like I'll get back to it. I will deal with it. But if in that moment, I'm not in the place to deal with it, I've learned to just shut it down, and then I'll get back to it whenever I'm in the place to deal with it. But then you're not like consistently stressing yourself out to respond to every text, respond to every message, every email, every question. Cause like I lived my life working that job doing that, where it was fucking bam, bam, bam every day, all day. I was getting hundreds of goddamn emails, and you develop this like, woo, fuck, I gotta get it out. But
did you ever read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss?
No, I have not.
Book. It's a really good. It's older now.
Check that one out.
He talks about like now, mind you, this was whenever I read it, and it was old then. Yeah. But he only responded to emails on like Mondays. Like and I was like, that's a good thing. And he was really ahead of his time with all that, because he said one of his things was, at request if you can work from home for a day or something, a day. Like this is before the work from home thing was big. He goes, slow your productivity down a little bit at the office. So then when you're working from home, it makes it look better. So then they maybe give you another day or two there. And I was like, that's a good idea. Well, then, everything went to hell.
Well, it's that human psychology. It all works that same way. Like you can work smarter, not harder. Most of them are a babysitting thing. But I hate to abruptly wrap this up, but I forgot. I have to leave to go get my child in 2 minutes, or we are going to be late.
So right, well, you go get your child. I can take care of the ending.
I should be able to wrap it up real quick, but we'll just have to wrap it up.
Okay, go ahead. I want to thank our gold sponsors, Wabash Valley Plumbing. They lay pipe. That is our slogan, not theirs. Peak Performance Gym. Jared just ate shit. No peak, no results.
Oh, man.
Formal wear. They have sweet suits.
What the fuck am I attached to?
Stitch Brands embroider stuff. Also, do us a solid. This is my famous plug. Do us a solid. Go to Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. That gets us pushed up into the atmosphere. Go to our socials. I think it's on Facebook. Give us a review there. Also, we do take subscriptions on our Facebook page, and for 99 cents a month, you can support the Diner Podcast. That's less than a cup of coffee.
That's a steal. I think that we could get lots of those, and then if we can get lots of them, maybe we'll do some additional bonus things to kind of entice. But I think you get some cool little.
Well, you get
things with it anyway.
You get an acknowledgement post. You get, if you comment on any of our live videos, your comment will be pinned or show up on the screen for a little while, and you do get $5 off Diner Podcast merch. So
see, you get all kinds of cool shit.
There you go. So, but with that, we're out of here. I gotta go pee.
I gotta go pick up my kid before I'm late.
All right. We'll see you later. Love you.
Bye. Love you.